All right, guys, let's jump into it. We're going to do a little Tua search right here. The reason I want to do that is offensive leaders, Tua, most yards in the league right now. So you can go to complete leaders, ESPN.com, and we can check out touchdowns, Kirk Cousins, followed by Russ, Josh Allen, Tua, Fields, Mahomes, yards a game, Tua, Kirk Cousins, CJ Stroud, Stafford, Allen, Herbie. So we've looked at Allen's prices. We've looked at Mahomes. We've looked at, who do we do? Herbert, Mahomes, and Allen. I don't know who else we did, but I definitely want to take a look at Tua. I think we did a little Jalen Hurts last week. Now, what I want you guys to realize is Tua, write his name, and guys, you do not need to even use these numbers. If you just hit enter on Tua, these are all sold. 20,000 results. You don't even need to write sports card. The market on eBay for sports cards, eBay is the market, right? And you can see by, if you just search Tua's name here, there's no jersey, there's no Tua item that isn't a card, right? It's all Tua. Now remember, you want to scroll here on the left side. If you're new, make sure that sold items are checked off. It'll be black, the text. If it's for sale or at auction, it'll go green once you click sold items. So now you got green right here. Now, if you guys are new to cards and don't understand how the numbers work, I'm going to write Prism here. And then usually the first number you see this 339 right here, that's going to be the number of his Prism rookie card. And we're going to use Prism because it's the most bought and sold card there is for Tua. It's the most sought after product across the board, whether you're talking about low end or high end cards. Prism is, I wouldn't say directly in the middle, it's above the middle, but everybody is buying and selling Prism cards, and it's really how you can kind of determine the whole market based on the sale of these prices. It's also the cards you're going to find the most sales of, so you could really trust the sales of Prisms, because if 10 Tua Prism rookie cards sell in a day and 9 of them are around $100 and 1 of them is $300, you know that $300 sale might not be an honest sale. So Prism is kind of your bread and butter when it comes to figuring out the market on any given player. So Tua Prism 339. Let's go PSA 10 here just to refine our search even more. So this is not his true rookie. This is a variation. See this little SP up here in this listing. See that SP? Short print, right? So this is a variation of his rookie card. The variations will go for slightly more than the base. We're going to X that out. We're going to go back here. We're going to try to find his base, which is right here. So this is on a sale October 10th. PSA 10 Tua rookie is selling for $80. All right, now you see the orange disco listed as disco Prism right here. And now on your PSA label and all these pictures, you're going to get the Gem Mint 10. Number 339 is the card on the back. So again, right here, 339 is the manufacturing line. Or rather, Panini, when they print the card set, they number every card. So the first guy printed, he's number 1. Second guy, 2. So in this set, Tua was the 339th guy printed. That's how we got the 339 number. Now, this is what they call a color match. Orange disco is going to match the Dolphins jersey. Obviously, you have Tua in his teal socks, but you got that orange around the number 1, around the Dolphins, on the helmet. So that anything green or orange can really be a color match for the Dolphins. So as you can see, the orange is commanding a sale of $260, where the base only commands $80. And again, that's because there's way more base cards. So let's just take a look again. We've done this in previous episodes. We're going to find that barcode up there. I'm going to scan this. I'm going to send it to the computer real quick here so you guys can see the PSA item information. And now we're going to get an idea. There's 3,300 PSA 10s of Tua's rookie. So again, 3,300 PSA 10s, not 3,300 Tua rookie Prisms of 339. I'm talking 3,000 PSA 10s. It's a lot of PSA 10s. Now, it's still cool to have one, but the value of that price, because there's so many of them, is $80. Whereas, if we do that same scan with the orange variation, right, our disco Prism, we're going to get a much lower number. Now, let's see, when we say much lower, what is much lower? We're going to find out right now. And it's really cool. If they take good enough pictures on eBay, you can just scan your computer to figure out all this info. So let's see what this looks like now. Orange disco Prism, 400. right? 397. So this is really interesting, and this is where you can also find value in cards, right? The orange disco prism PSA 10 population is 1/10, maybe a little less than 1/10 the base prism, right? So again, guys, well, we saw the cert verification on the PSA 10 base prism, which looks like this right here, right? Just your regular old prism card, right? PSA 10 sold for 80 bucks versus the PSA 10 orange disco prism commanding 250 or $260, right? So we're talking about a 3x here in price, but there's almost a 10x in population. So those numbers do not translate, and something's wrong here. So it could be that the price of the orange disco should be more, or it could be that the price of the Tua base prism should be less. Now, I'd have to guesstimate that the price of the PSA 10 should be a little less. But listen, if Tua balls out, takes his team to the playoffs, and gets some quality wins in the playoffs, or potentially poses a threat, that $80 price point for his PSA 10, even with over 3,000 PSA 10s, is going up. That $80 price point can go to 120, 130, 140, dare I say 150. And if we're hitting 160, we're talking about double the price. Now, again, there's a lot of things that have to happen. The Dolphins probably got to win the AFC East. By the way, if we want to check out the standings, they're currently at the top right here, right? Above the Bills, but they lost to the Bills. So they've got a long way to go. The Chiefs are also 4-1, who I think are the best team in the league. No hate towards Eagles or Niners fans. The Niners' toughest test was the Cowboys, and I think we all realize the Cowboys are kind of frauds. They've demolished 3 teams, but those 3 teams were the Jets, Giants, and Patriots, who all stink. And the one time they play a good team, the Cowboys, they lose by 32. They also, was it 32? I think it was 32. And they also lost to the Cardinals. So it's not a good feeling if you're a Cowboys fan right now. But let's get back to Tua real quick. Again, 260 bucks on this orange. And I just want to show you and everybody who's watching how you can find value here in these listings, right? So let's go back. And again, we are on a search of Tua Prism 339 PSA 10 only, right? So that yields 512 results of sales. So this is the red, white, and blue variation commanding 154. And now you get into the blue ice. Now this is where there's some serious money. This is a little interesting, right? This is $2,000. And again, people think sports cards are stupid. Tua Tagovailoa, PSA 10. This is numbered to 99. There's only 99 of these printed in the world. Now let's check out how many PSA 10s are there of this particular card. We're going to pop to the back of the card. We're going to get that QR code, right? We're going to scan that QR code. We're going to find out right now what is commanding this $2,000 price point. How many PSA 10s of this card are there? November 21st, 2022, sold for $2,700. And the year before that in December sold for $1,500. So now it's down from its height, and that might not be its height. We don't know if this card has ever sold for more. This is just what PSA auction prices realized are. I don't even know what that means. I don't know how much data they're pulling from eBay, but they're pulling some. The population here, though, is 14. We do know that. That's cool. I like that if you're a Tua investor, right? Or if you're somebody who believes in Tua, there's only 14 PSA 10s of this card. And I like that. Now remember, this is the same print as the base, but it has the blue ice variation. And when you go to the back here, very, very hard to see, but right above Tua Tagovailoa, it says 48 out of 99. And again, there's only 14 PSA 10s, and that's what's yielding this $2,000 price point. So here's another orange disco. We looked at that before. And this is back to what I was saying about Prism and why it's so great for checking or realizing the true price of cards. You have an orange disco that sold for $260 right here from one seller, and then you pop down here, and what I like to do is I like to look at the actual title. Because if you see 2 titles that are exactly the same, that could be somebody trying to prop a card up or creating sales that aren't necessarily true. So there's a dash in that one, and there's no dash here. So I do like this. This one has 42 bids, right? Where this one was a buy it now, 276 and 260. Those are two sale prices that are pretty consistent. You don't get much closer than 276 and 260, right? Now, to the untrained eye, you go, well, look, Dappz, there's 150. Why is that one so much cheaper? Well, guess what, guys? This is not the orange disco. This is the orange laser. Lasers on their freaking heads. All right, so this is the laser prism, right? Slightly different, also orange. Now, the reason that this is cheaper, most likely, is that when we scan this QR code, the pop count is going to be, let's find out. We'd have to guess, though, there's going to be more in pop than the orange disco. And we're going to find out right now if Dappz is right. 409. So there's exactly the same amount of lasers as discos. So I was wrong. There's a price discrepancy here now that you guys can kind of look after. The laser and the disco have the same pop count, PSA 10. So we can keep scrolling and figure it out. Now you have a $1,500 sale plus. This is a silver. And again, oh, look at this laser, 140. So the disco is commanding over $100 more than the laser. For what reason? That doesn't make any sense. So this is something that should be further investigated. The PSA 10 count on both of those is 10 off. So this should be $10 off max. Now, let's go over this. $1,500. This is a silver Tua auto, Gem 10 auto 10. Beautiful card. This is a silver, guys. For anybody who's new here, silver means it kind of has like a rainbow look to it, right? When you move the card in the light. Very, very difficult to see on eBay if you don't understand. But if you look up in the top right, you see that little orange, pink, refractor rainbow kind of coloring. And then in the top left, there's a little blue and purple. Bottom left, there's a little blue. And that's just, you're seeing those colors in this picture based on the light that was hitting the card when the picture was taken. So this card will look totally different in under different lights. This one's $1,580, and I'm just giving you guys kind of a little example of what these prices, or Tua's prices, are. This is the same prism, silver prism without the auto. Is about half the price right here. $1,580 for the autograph, $700 without the auto. So that autograph is more than doubling the price of that card. Again, 86. So 80 to 85 bucks is pretty much the standard. So now we've got a Tua PSA 10 339 rookie no huddle blue prism out of 79. And we're going to go back up. What was our blue ice was out of 99 and did 2K. And we're going to scroll down to no huddle, and it's 885, lower number. So the reason for this, guys, is definitely because if you look at that label, it says no huddle on it, right? And no huddle prism is one of those hybrid boxes. So it's not a true hobby box, it's a hybrid box. Everything that comes out of that hybrid box is not going to be as valuable to a collector as a true hobby box. And it shouldn't be, because true hobby boxes cost significantly more than no huddle boxes. All right, guys, and again, you're seeing multiple sales, 83, 90, 96, and this is what I keep talking or stressing about with Prism, is these are established prices for Tua. And this is how you tell the true price of a card, or the true price of a player, is by looking at their base Prism, because you're going to find the most sales of it. So now we know we like our Tua card, let's say at $85 average. Now let's go to Lamar Jackson, okay? Now, Lamar has an MVP, no Super Bowl. Let's check out his prices, though, because if Tua were to get to the Super Bowl or win the MVP, his prices can approach a Lamar Jackson type, right? Here you've got a blue laser prism. We're going to skip over that one. Here is the Lamar Jackson base prism, okay? 2018 Panini Prism Lamar Jackson PSA 10. This sold for $250. Now, we just said the average price of Tua is 85 bucks. So we're talking about close to a 3x in price for Lamar Jackson versus Tua. Again, this is where I stress, is there opportunity here? Do you believe Tua could win an MVP this year? I believe at the moment he's the favorite in Vegas. Odds to win NFL MVP. Let's see, the first site we see, no, Mahomes is first and Tua is second. But it's very close. You got plus 350 for Mahomes and plus 450 for Tua. So if Tua wins an MVP, why wouldn't he be at minimum the same price as Lamar? So one of two things has to happen. Either Tua's price has to go up or Lamar's has to come down, or they're going to meet here. Either way, Tua's value would be higher than it is currently today, right? We did this on the last one. Now you have the blue laser selling for $358 and $480. So you could say the average price of that is close to $400 on the blue laser. Lamar, $250 base. Here you go, silver. Remember, a lot of you guys are probably going, oh, that looks just like this one. Do you see the rainbow? The little green rainbow in the background? This one doesn't have that rainbow. And you can see there is a huge difference in price here, all right? It's not even comparable, not even close. We're talking about a 6x in price from the silver to the base. And again, that's because there's way less silver prisms that are printed. So that's what you got to be aware of. So this, here we go, 180 for his PSA 10. Before that, we had 250, right? So first we have 250, then we have 180 here with 35 bids that I like as a true sale, and then 165. So again, we're talking about this card being closer to $180, where Tua's is 80. He's more than double Tua. Here's another 180 sale, and now you get into Disco Prism 456. Here's a $200 sale on September 19th. Remember, players' performance in sports cards can greatly affect their cards. If you see Lamar Jackson one day throw for 4 touchdowns and rush for 2 or 3, and he's got 7 touchdowns and he breaks a record, or even just has an insane 50-point fantasy week, a lot of people are going to go on eBay and they're going to search Lamar Jackson PSA 10, Lamar Jackson rookie card, right? And that week there will be a slight spike because more people are trying to buy his cards based on his play. So as you can see here, on September 19th, I don't know if Lamar had a good week that week, you have 200, 196, 200, right? And then it drops off to 165, 182. So if it goes back up to 200, this guy just made $40, pretty fast on a $165 sale. As you scroll down, you see more and more variations every year. This was 2018 Lamar Jackson's rookie class. Every year has different prints. This was an orange prism die cut. They don't make this anymore. This is a red, white, and blue, $200. And again, we're just talking about, so look, the blue laser, here's what you guys got to look for. The blue laser, we have 2 established sales, one at $358 and one at $480. $480, 15 bids. $358, 13 bids. You scroll down to here and you see this blue laser go for double that, $700, 1 bid. I don't like that at all. I don't like that 1 bid at all. I do not think this is a real sale. And again, this is something where if you're new to sports cards, you have to be putting in your 20, 30, 40 hours of research, pouring through these sold items to understand prices. Now, it's okay if a card's $250 and it sells for $350 one week. That's not a major discrepancy. But 1 bid at double the price of 2 recent sales, huge red flag. Huge red flag. And then we can do the same thing right now too. Let's go to the red, white, and blues because I'm seeing a bunch of those. 192, red, white, and blue, right? Scroll down. 192 is the first one. Next one's 201. $10 off, $9 off. That's fine. This one's 305. $100 off, 16 bids. That's okay. Strange, peculiar, but again, you get a Lamar Jackson fan who wants that card, sees it at auction. That can happen sometimes. Here's another blue laser. Best offer accepted, $500. That means the card really went for probably closer to $300, right? So again, that $700 sale, I don't like it. Watch out, please. All right, that's going to get us close to the end of this segment on sports cards. Remember, guys, I showed you that PSA 10 Purdy that I sold last week on Golden Auctions. It's getting a ton of media attention right now. Golden posted this, right? This is, remember, I sent this card there. This is where it went. Or excuse me, I sent it to PSA, and then this is where it went. And this was the lot that I was in. But really cool that Golden posted the card. Then PSA in an Instagram price posted the card. Auction price realized few players are hotter with collectibles right now. I'm a little upset with PSA that they're not posting or tagging me in this. And then this guy on Twitter sold on 813 for 12.6, sold on 10.2 for 34K. Guys, again, when I bought that card at 5,500 raw, I was thinking the 813 sold on price, 12 grand. But because Purdy was balling out, the Niners look like the best team in the league. They're getting a ton of media attention right now. A little bit of luck paired with timing, paired with a good purchase, that yields a 5-6x return for me on this card. So hold time under 2 months. This is not necessarily accurate. This guy's just trying to do his best version of, oh, this card sold at 813 and then it sold again 2 months later, and this guy sold for 12 and then he made 20 grand. That's not what happened. I bought it for 5,500, even better scenario, and sold it for 35K. But not a bad analysis by him. He's just saying, hey, the guy who bought it on the 13th of August, if he sold it 2 months later, he just made 20K, which is also a great return. But the hold time for me was closer to 6 months. I bought it in the off season and was able to get a nice return on that. So the value change here is 21 grand. Little does he know, really, the value change is closer to 30K. So huge price change in such a short amount of time. Is Purdy the real deal? Good question to ask. I'll tell you one thing. Purdy has not lost a game. The only thing you can say is, oh, he lost in the playoffs. Yeah, he had a torn UCL. He was just standing out there giving the ball to Christian McCaffrey. He couldn't throw it. So I'm not knocking him for that game. We'd love to see a rematch of the Niners-Eagles as football fans this year. We'll see what happens. That's going to do it for our sports card segment.